Did you know there are nearly invisible silent factors that can slowly wear down your bones and joints without you even realizing it? These factors, which we'll call silent killers, directly affect the health of older adults. If you want to maintain your independence and well being during this stage of life, it's vital to understand them and learn how to counteract their effects. Today, we'll talk in detail about these six major enemies of your bones and joints. Throughout this video, you'll discover why your body might be suffering damage without you noticing it at first glance, and what practical measures you can take to stop that silent destruction that shortens your quality of life. To begin, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from, and if you're up for it, share your age as well. I love knowing who's interested in taking care of their health during their later years. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. You won't want to miss any videos about health, nutrition, and exercises that can transform your daily life. Remember, the actions you take now can make all the difference in your mobility, energy, and well-being in the years to come. Let's get started. To understand why your bones and joints weaken with age, we first need to understand how they work and what keeps them healthy. Bones don't just support the body, they're made up of living tissue that is constantly renewing itself. However, this renewal process tends to slow down over the years. At the same time, joints have cartilage and synovial fluid that cushion movement and prevent painful friction between bones. When something in this system fails, discomfort, stiffness, or even deformities can appear, limiting our daily activities. The World Health Organization warns that the percentage of people over 60 with bone and joint problems increases every decade, and many of these cases are linked to risk factors that can be prevented or controlled if caught in time. A sedentary lifestyle, poor nutrition, and chronic stress are just a few examples of the elements acting as silent killers of our musculoskeletal health. Consider the case of Mrs. Linda, who had a very active social life. After reaching a certain age, she noticed that sitting in the same position for a long time caused hip discomfort, and climbing stairs became increasingly difficult. Within a few months, her knees began to crack and ache. After doing some research, she discovered that several of her daily habits were undermining her bones' strength and her joints' flexibility. Once she became aware, she was able to make concrete changes to improve her diet, exercise routine, and posture. Today, just like Mrs. Linda, you'll have the opportunity to discover the six most dangerous enemies for your bones and joints, and how to face them before it's too late. Don't miss any detail of what's coming next. First silent killer: sedentary lifestyle and lack of exercise. The first silent killer is physical inactivity or a sedentary lifestyle, a problem that affects millions of older adults worldwide. It can be tempting to stay at home, watch TV, or read without moving much, especially if you already have some discomfort. However, that prolonged lack of movement leads to a vicious cycle. The less you move, the less muscle strength and bone density you maintain, and the higher the chances that your joints will suffer. A study published several years ago by a European university specialized in gerontology concluded that older adults who walked at least half an hour a day, 4 days a week, showed better preservation of bone mass and reported less joint pain than those with a sedentary lifestyle. Even walking around the house or doing simple stretches can make a difference, as long as you practice them consistently. In the case of Mr. Jordan, who was 75, a sedentary lifestyle led to a noticeable loss of muscle mass. He felt too weak for activities as simple as lifting a box or standing for more than 15 minutes. His doctor prescribed sessions with a physical therapist that included gentle strength exercises, stretches, and walks, using a cane for better balance. Surprisingly, in just a few months, Mr. George regained some of his mobility and reduced his knee pain. To combat a sedentary lifestyle, try low-impact routines like walking in safe areas, practicing adapted yoga, or doing balance exercises. Consult your doctor if necessary and ask for specific recommendations. Also, if possible, join exercise groups for older adults. You'll not only work out but also meet others who share your health goals, which helps maintain motivation. Second silent killer: excessive consumption of processed foods. The second silent killer is the excessive intake of ultra-processed foods. These days, the food industry offers more and more ready-to-eat products packed with sugars, salts, and chemical additives. The problem is that these components can trigger inflammation throughout the body, including inflammation in the joints. In addition, a high intake of trans fats and sodium increases fluid retention and promotes cartilage wear. Have you ever noticed that after eating deli meats, salty snacks, or store-bought pastries, your hands or legs swell up? Fluid retention from too much sodium is not just uncomfortable, it can worsen joint pain. On top of that, these products are usually devoid of the essential nutrients needed to keep bones strong. Instead, they take up space in your diet that you could otherwise use for fruits, vegetables, quality proteins, and whole grains that truly nourish your body. The key to avoiding this silent killer is to steer clear of processed foods as much as possible and prioritize fresh, natural options. For example, instead of buying cookies or fried snacks, go for unsalted nuts, a piece of fruit, or yogurt with chunks of fresh fruit. Consistently cutting back on sugary drinks and store-bought juices is also a strong step toward protecting your joints. Many older adults think, "I'm already this age, I don't believe changing my diet will make much difference." Nothing could be further from the truth. Recent studies show that even at older ages, improving your diet can reduce systemic inflammation markers and help slow the wear and tear on bones and cartilage. Third silent killer: lack of essential nutrients. The third silent killer is closely tied to the previous one: a shortage of essential nutrients for your bones and joints. Think about calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and protein, which are all crucial pillars for preserving your bone structure and keeping your joints healthy. How can you get them? Through a balanced diet and, if necessary, supplements prescribed by a healthcare professional. Vitamin D, for example, facilitates calcium absorption. Without it, it doesn't matter if you consume a lot of dairy products or calcium-rich foods. Much of that calcium won't be effectively absorbed. Moderate sun exposure helps your body synthesize vitamin D, although many older adults avoid the sun due to concerns about skin problems or simply out of habit. A doctor might suggest blood tests to measure your vitamin D level and recommend a supplement if needed. As for calcium, it's not just found in milk and cheese. There are many plant-based sources such as broccoli, spinach, almonds, and sesame seeds. Legumes also provide valuable minerals for bone health. And let's not forget quality proteins from fish, eggs, poultry, lean meats, or plant-based options like soy and tofu. Dr. Smith, a rheumatologist with extensive experience, often mentions the case of a patient who, in order to watch her figure, drastically limited dairy and other essential foods for years. She arrived at the clinic with extremely fragile bones and joint pain. After following a nutritional plan that included more calcium, vitamin D, and protein, she saw a notable improvement in her muscle strength and a reduction in joint pain. This real-life example highlights the importance of not neglecting your nutrient intake. Fourth silent killer: excess weight and poor posture. The fourth silent killer combines two elements that are harmful on their own, but together can dramatically accelerate the deterioration of your bones and joints. Excess weight and poor posture. Let's start with excess weight. Every extra pound puts more pressure on your knees, hips, and spine, increasing the risk of osteoarthritis and cartilage wear. Imagine your joints as a hinge designed for a certain range of motion and a certain load. When you add extra weight, the hinge experiences more friction, wears down, and can break or become damaged prematurely. Numerous studies have shown that shedding even a modest percentage of body weight reduces stress on the joints and relieves pain. On top of this comes poor posture, a very common issue in older adults. Perhaps you've seen people who, when sitting, don't properly support their back on the chair or spend many hours slouched. Even while walking, it's common to tilt the head too far forward, creating tension in the neck, shoulders, and lower back. If this happens daily, the spinal discs and joints may be more likely to suffer damage. Proper posture means aligning your head, shoulders, and back so that your weight is distributed evenly. To achieve this, you can try posture correction exercises, stretching, or if necessary, consult with physical therapists or ergonomics experts who can guide you on the best way to sit, walk, or lift objects. By combining weight reduction with improvements in posture, you'll notice less discomfort and reduced joint stiffness. Keep in mind that any change should be gradual. If you've never exercised, start with simple routines and increase intensity at a measured pace. And remember, it's always a good idea to consult a professional if you have any doubts about your abilities or any special conditions. Fifth silent killer: excess salt and dehydration. Moving on to the fifth silent killer, the overuse of salt, coupled with dehydration. You may be surprised to see these two elements together, but they go hand in hand to undermine the health of your bones and joints. Too much salt can increase the excretion of calcium through urine. This means that a high sodium intake might speed up bone demineralization, leaving bones weaker over time. Plus, the body tends to retain water when there's too much sodium in the diet, leading to swelling in the extremities, which adds pressure on the joints and worsens stiffness or pain. Dehydration, for its part, is a hidden enemy that often affects many older adults who don't feel as thirsty or who avoid drinking fluids so they won't have to get up frequently to use the bathroom. When the body isn't well hydrated, the synovial fluid in the joints can become less plentiful, losing its lubricating effect. This increases friction between bones and, as a result, speeds up cartilage wear. To avoid this dangerous duo, reduce the amount of salt you add to your meals. Try seasoning with herbs like oregano, rosemary, turmeric, pepper, or garlic powder, instead of going heavy on the salt shaker. Check the labels on the products you buy to ensure you're not exceeding recommended sodium levels. As for hydration, get used to drinking water in small amounts throughout the day instead of chugging large quantities all at once. If you find plain water difficult, you can opt for mild unsweetened teas or low-sodium broths. Remember that prolonged dehydration can affect not just your joints, but also your digestion, kidney function, and even your mood. Make hydration a daily habit without waiting for intense thirst. It's a simple step that can greatly improve your overall health. Sixth, silent killer: chronic stress and lack of rest. We come to the sixth and final silent killer: chronic stress, along with inadequate rest. Not everything that harms bones and joints stems from physical or dietary factors alone. Mental health and emotional balance also have a significant impact on our musculoskeletal well-being. When we live under constant stress, the body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline in a sustained manner. In small doses, these hormones help us respond to immediate dangers, but if they stay at high levels for long periods, they can weaken bone structure and exacerbate inflammatory processes. In fact, excessive cortisol has been linked to a loss of bone mineral density, essentially wearing down bones from the inside. A lack of good nighttime rest worsens the problem even more. During sleep, the body uses the time to repair tissues, balance hormone levels, and regenerate cells. If you sleep less than recommended or have poor quality sleep, your joints won't get the recovery they need from daily activities. Moreover, chronic fatigue can lead you to adopt poor postures or cut back on physical activity, exacerbating sedentary habits and all the other factors we've mentioned. What can you do to reduce chronic stress and address poor sleep? First, establish regular sleep routines. Aim to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Create a relaxing environment in your bedroom. Keep lighting soft and avoid electronic devices right before bedtime. To manage stress, you can practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or gentle yoga. Many older adults find it helpful to do mindfulness exercises or attend stress management workshops. If anxiety or lack of sleep feels out of your control, don't hesitate to consult a mental health professional. Finding a balance between mind and body is essential for keeping your bones and joints in good shape as the years go by. Now that we've covered these 6 silent killers, let's do a quick recap. 1. The first is a sedentary lifestyle and lack of exercise, which weaken muscles and speed up the loss of bone density. 2. The second is the excessive consumption of processed foods, which cause inflammation and lack quality nutrients. 3. The third is the shortage of essential nutrients like calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, and protein, all indispensable for bone and joint health. The fourth pairs excess weight with poor posture, a duo that increases strain on bones and joints and can deform them over time. The fifth involves too much salt and dehydration, which make it harder for joints to stay lubricated and promote mineral loss. 6. The sixth, and by no means least, is chronic stress and lack of rest, which wear down the body invisibly and reduce its ability to recover. You might recognize one of these factors in your life, or several. The important thing is that by identifying them, you have the opportunity to make gradual yet powerful changes in your daily routine. If you feel one of these silent killers has already taken hold, don't give up. Seeking professional help, changing habits, and caring for your overall well-being can mark a turning point in your health. I'd love to know which of these points you feel is affecting you most in your day-to-day life. Is it your diet, lack of exercise, stress, and poor sleep? Share in the comments so that more people can read about your experience and be inspired to take action. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this a like if you found this information helpful. Recommend this video to your family and friends who also want to maintain their mobility and joint health in old age. Remember that small changes can bring big benefits. In the next video, we'll go into detail on a series of easy exercises you can do at home to strengthen your bones and joints. Don't miss it. Until then, take good care of yourself and remember that your well-being is in your hands. Each step you take, no matter how small, contributes to a fuller, healthier life. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and see you very soon.